guys, welcome to Puerto Rico. Mushroom and I arrived here the day before yesterday for a short vacation, and it is amazing. It is an awesome place. The people are so friendly and interesting. The food is good, great. The water is, oh my god, it's in my shoes, but also very green and blue. I mean, it's almost too blue. It makes me angry how blue it is. It's stupid blue. It's frustrating. Really beautiful island, really beautiful place to visit. Great weather. It's not too hot. It's not crazy hot. Apparently you can rent helicopters. That's cool too. So, I want to just, since I'm here, talk a little bit about Puerto Rico because I've posted here and there that I'm on vacation here, and people have asked about Puerto Rico because it's kind of unique in many ways, the background and exactly the status of Puerto Rico. Kind of unique. So I want to give you a little bit of background about this very interesting place that you should definitely visit, and I'm going to do that as I walk along this beach toward what is supposed to be one of the best pina coladas you can find. Now, the famous drink in Puerto Rico is a pina colada. You may have heard it in a song or two. But apparently at the end of this beach there's a great stand selling pina coladas, and I plan to buy one. So, a little bit about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is an island in the Caribbean. It's not a very big island, and there have been indigenous people here for a very long time. But in 1493, Christopher Columbus, the one and only, came here and said, "This is mine now. This belongs to Spain." I guess that's how people did things back then. Just bring a flag onto the beach and put it down and say, "Mine." Who's living here? I don't care. It's Spain's. Anyway, so Puerto Rico was under Spanish control for 400 years, right? And then that was in 1493 when that started. But then in 1898, there was a war called the Spanish-American War, and then Puerto Rico came under the control of the United States. So since that time, since 1898, Puerto Rico has been a territory of the United States. A territory. So what does it mean that Puerto Rico is a territory? What it means is that people here are United States citizens. They can get a passport for the United States, and they're Americans. They can move to the mainland, move to any state they want. They can do most things that other Americans can do. But because it's a territory and not a state, there are some differences. And one of them is that Puerto Rico kind of feels like another country. When I'm here, I kind of feel like I'm visiting another country because the culture here is quite different from what I've experienced in my lifetime in the United States. And I would say that most Puerto Ricans would agree with that. I would say, probably, based on my experience, most Puerto Ricans would say, "I'm Puerto Rican," before they would say, "I'm American." They are Americans, but they, I think, generally identify as being Puerto Rican first. So in that way, it does kind of feel like a national identity. And one of the big questions right now is, will Puerto Rico become a state? Because Puerto Rico could become the 51st state. Right now, America has 50 states. It could become the 51st state. My question would be, where would the 51st star go on the flag? Maybe right in the middle. So anyway, that's the question. And I've been talking with people. One thing that's really interesting about this trip is that it seems like everybody wants to have an interesting conversation. When I'm in the United States, in New York, it feels like it's hard to start a conversation with people because people are in such a hurry. They have somewhere to go. They're annoyed you're in their way. You know, if you start a conversation, they'll just throw a bagel at you and then ask you to go away. But here, I feel like everyone wants to have a conversation. And so I've talked to a lot of people, and so far, the sense that I get is that a lot of people would like Puerto Rico to become a state, because there are many benefits to being a state. But one feeling is, a couple of people have mentioned this, Puerto Rico to Puerto Ricans feels like a nation, right? Everybody here speaks Spanish. I've met many people who don't speak English. And there's a very unique culture here. And as I said, it feels like visiting another country, which is cool, very cool. So if Puerto Rico becomes a state, would that start to go away? And so I think people are a little conflicted. I think a lot of people support it becoming the 51st state. Some people don't. I haven't asked everybody, so I don't know for sure. And some people aren't sure. I think some people feel kind of in the middle. I talked to my Uber driver yesterday, and she told me so many interesting things, one of which was, I'm not sure. I feel conflicted. I don't want to lose my culture. I don't want my culture to sort of fade away and become only American if it becomes a state. At the same time, there are many benefits. One of the benefits would be what's called representation. Right now, Puerto Rico has a person who goes to Washington, D.C. to represent Puerto Rico, but that person can't do very much. They don't really have much power. They can't vote on stuff like people from other states can. If you're a representative from any other state or any state in the United States, you can vote on laws and stuff. But the representative, I think it's only one person, of Puerto Rico can't, because Puerto Rico is not a state. There's this other weird thing that I've learned about that pretty much everyone seems to hate, which is the Jones Act. And this is a law which says that every imported product, everything that comes from another country, must come on an American boat. American-owned ship. In other words, Puerto Rico may have an island nearby, and they may want to trade coffee with that island, or bananas, or whatever, but they can't directly. That coffee has to go to the United States first, and then come to Puerto Rico, even if the boat comes right past Puerto Rico on the way to the United States. And for that reason, the cost of many goods is higher. Another kind of crazy thing about being Puerto Rican and living in Puerto Rico is that, for example, you're not able to vote for, say, the president. You're not able to do that because of the status of Puerto Rico. Now, you can move to a state, another state in the United States, and then you can vote in elections, but if you're from here and you live here, you can't. So that's kind of strange. And so I think for that reason, among others, Puerto Ricans feel like they are second-class American citizens. Yes, they can get a U.S. passport. Yes, they're citizens and they can move to the mainland whenever they want. But being here and living here, you don't have as much power as someone living in a state in the United States. And also, because of the hurricane. So 2 years ago was the largest recorded hurricane ever, Hurricane Maria. I was told by the guy at the hotel that there are only 5 categories of hurricane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the strongest. And if there had been a 7, it would have been a 7. So apparently it was the craziest, strongest hurricane ever. And the recovery was very slow. It's still going on. You can see the effects. You can see some buildings are closed and they're waiting for the insurance company to pay back the money that they're supposed to pay because so many things were destroyed. in the hurricane, and there's still an effort to recover going on 2 years later. And that's a whole complicated story that maybe we don't need to get into in this video, but there's a feeling that the government in Washington, D.C. could have done a lot more. If Puerto Rico were a state, would it have been faster? I don't know. But that definitely, I think, makes the local people here feel like, yeah, they don't care about us as much because we're not quite at the same level as a normal American citizen. I put that in quotes because I think that's the feeling that people have. The other thing that's going on right now is there are protests happening. We went to what's called Old San Juan, and there are broken windows and spray paint on the buildings. There are big protests going on right now because some bad behavior of the governor has been revealed in some secret text messages that were going on for a long period of time, showing some corruption. So people are not happy about that, and they are out in the streets, and there are broken windows. So that's what's going on here. It's been very interesting to learn about this beautiful place. I still have a lot to learn, a lot of conversations to have, but the thing that impresses me is just how nice everybody is, and how beautiful this place is, and how it seems like everybody is eager to have an interesting conversation with me. It's so rare for me to find that, and so I'm glad I came here. I've never been here before. It's just a beautiful place, and I can see my pina colada place. So I'm gonna get my pina colada now. Can I get a pina colada and a hot dog?
Sure. The pina colada is 5 virgin, 10 with the rum. It's dark spicy rum, it's 2 shots. You're paying basically $2.50 a shot, it's really good.
Yeah, do that. And a hot dog.
You want a hot dog? It's $2.50. The chili dog with homemade chili is $3.
I'm good on the chili, just hot dog, yeah.
What do you want on a hot dog? Mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, cheese.
Mayonnaise on a hot dog, can't imagine. Mustard, ketchup, do you have onions?
Yeah, raw or...
Raw onions.
Raw?
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup.
Mustard, ketchup, and onions. Perfect. That is unbelievable. I thought I've had a pina colada before. That is so good. It's amazing. Best pina colada in Puerto Rico? Maybe. I wouldn't know. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me on this morning beach walk in Puerto Rico. Some of you may be thinking, pina colada at 10 a.m.? Yes. 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 All right, guys. Leave a comment. See you in the next one.